even one of Chairman Mao. Now, I don't necessarily see much wrong with this. These people have made a mark on history, but there were zero posters of conservative historical figures. Like many teachers these days, this particular teacher uses a lot of videos in the classroom, and here are just a few. One was about a boy who was raised as a girl. One was about Walmart. It was called The High Cost of Low Prices. There was 30 Days, Straight Man in a Gay World. And the last one was Tough Guys, which is a movie that claims that the media is controlled by rich, white men, and that American men are becoming more and more violent as a backlash against gains made by women and gays. Consider also the following. Highland Park High School canceled a girls' basketball trip to Arizona because, quote, the trip would not be aligned with our beliefs and values. Whose beliefs and values? The students? The parents? The taxpayers? Or the educators? If that's what's going on the basketball court, what is going on in the classroom? Former Weather Underground terrorist William Ayers lectured students at a Naperville high school and was invited to speak at Hersey. Students in a freshman honors class at Hersey High School were given a handout which blamed the Catholic Church for poverty in third world countries. The things they carried is a book taught in both our District 15 junior high schools and our 211 high schools. It is an ugly anti-military novel about the Vietnam War that flatly declares a true war story is never moral. If a story seems moral, do not believe it. To commemorate Constitution Day for the last 4 years, Friend has brought in speakers from the ACLU to lecture students. The chapter on the Constitution in my son's history book was titled The Living Constitution. My daughter's 8th grade social studies book had a chapter on 9/11 and the recent rise of terrorism. The words Muslim and Islam never appeared. Are our kids receiving the knowledge they really need to become informed and responsible citizens capable of preserving freedom and self-government? I don't believe they are. It would appear that conservative thought is largely being censored in our public schools. This shouldn't be a fight between liberals and conservatives. I think we should all be able to agree that a good education includes both sides of controversial issues. And then there's the third pillar of our Founding Fathers' vision for public education, morality. The Glenbrook North Spring Musical this year had a cast of characters which included a drag queen, a stripper, and a bisexual performance artist. Palatine High School Spring Musical was entitled Urinetown. 3 years ago, the Wheeling High School student newspaper featured an article which declared oral sex to be the new romantic norm for casual dating. A North Shore student was offered to spend time in detention after his parents opted him out of an R-rated movie in English class which featured Demi Moore giving herself an abortion with knitting needles. Deerfield High School has a class called Freshman Advisory in which gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender upperclassmen discuss their sexual orientation with freshmen. Students in Glenbard North health classes were given a survey which asked them how they knew they were heterosexual if they had never had a good same-sex lover. What are we doing to our kids? Contrary to the Founding Fathers' belief that public schools should be in the business of building up morality, much of this seems specifically designed to tear it down, especially sexual morality, which is an area our kids are very vulnerable. And lastly, let's consider the books. Some of you may remember a few years ago when there was a big controversy in District 214 about obscene content in English class textbooks. I'm here to tell you that those same books can be found in high schools across the country, including our own, District 211. Beloved is required reading in many senior AP English classes. It's a novel set in the time of slavery that hits you between the eyes in the very first chapter with multiple references to men engaging in what I will only describe here as inappropriate activity with cows. To add insult to injury, although Beloved isn't taught in senior AP English, it is written at a 6th grade level. The reason this book is so widely read in our schools is because it appears on a nationwide list the Advanced Placement Suggested Reading List. This suggests to me that the lack of sound moral judgment has become epidemic in education. A book called The Perks of Being a Wallflower is all about the perks of being a voyeur to lots of teenagers having lots of sex. It appeared on a suggested reading list for gifted 7th graders at Winston Park. That's just 2. There are many more. And I can't speak more plainly about this here because I don't think I have the right to expose other people's children to this kind of material. I wish that teachers felt the same way. I hate to say it, but I feel like I have to because educators have so successfully framed this as a censorship issue. This is not about book banning or censorship. It's about where to draw the line. It's about choosing what's best for our kids. It's about choosing materials that elevate their minds instead of degrading them. If you have doubts, I implore you to go read for yourself, and I ask you to do that anyway. We are right under the clock tower at the green and gold table. Please go take a look for yourself. Make up your own mind. Parents and taxpayers are often first hesitant about questioning teacher book choices, but they react with stunned disbelief when they actually view the content. And their first question is, why? Why would we give this to our kids when there are so many other choices available? There is much more, but I think you begin to get the picture from the little I've shared here today. You are here today because you know our nation is in trouble. I ask you to consider if that may be, at least in part, because we are now beginning to reap what we have sown in our nation, in America's classrooms for years. I will close by saying that as concerned as I am about what is being taught in our schools, I'm nearly as grieved at what is not. We sit on a mountain of wisdom accumulated over the ages and often at great expense and personal sacrifice. Aristotle, Augustine, Tocqueville, Burke, Jay, Madison, Hamilton, Jefferson, and we give them gay drag queens, deranged soldiers, and men with cows. Pardon me for being angry, but I am. We sit on a veritable feast of true knowledge and feed our kids crumbs. It is mostly a crime of omission and a terrible waste. Abraham Lincoln once said, "The philosophy of the classroom in one generation will be the philosophy of the government in the next." What kind of government will the classrooms of today produce? These are public schools. This is our money. These are our kids. This is our backyard. We are the public. Thank you. We can do better. It's time to raise the bar. So please join us right under the clock tower, green and gold tables. Thank you very much.